हरि ओम् आपादमौलिपर्यन्तां गुरूणाम् आकृतिं स्मरेति न विघ्नप्रणश्यन्ति सिद्धन्ति च मनोरथः लक्ष्मीं तनोतु नितराम् इतरानपेक्षमङ्घ्रिद्वयं निगमशाकिशिखाप्रवालं हैरम्बमम्बुरुहडम्बरचौर्यनिग्रहं विघ्नाद्रिभेदशतधारधुरन्तरन्नः सर्वेषां स्वागतं. This is the positive psychology of the positive psychology session of the fifth shloka. So अहं प्रपन्नोऽस्मि पदाम्बुजं प्रभो भवापवर्गं तव योगी भावितं यथाञ्जसा ज्ञान यथाञ्जसा ज्ञान मपारवारिधिं सुखं तरिष्यामि तथानुषाधि माम्. So we saw that Tathanushadhi Mam showcases the Guru Sharanagati. The two concepts of positive psychology that actually is in conflict with each other, that is showcased in this verse, is the flow and fixation. One is the Sharanagati shows the flow. What is this concept of flow in positive psychology? The concept of flow was put forth by a psychiatrist called as Mihai. I'm not sure if I'm Mihaly. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. His name is Mihaly, MihalY. So he was a psychologist who has explained the concept of flow theory, and this concept of flow theory means to indulge in an activity where we can lose ourselves. So this is a very very specific way of saying, and a very popular way of saying also, because we also say in bhakti that we have to completely give in. Sharanagati is where that comes from. There we talked about Guru Sharanagati. Here, just giving in to that whole process. The process can be anything: learning, music, eating, cooking, anything. So, just being in that particular moment and understand, not even thinking, just let go of ourselves. This concept of flow is actually at a very high order, can relate to the samadhi, the the ancient concept of samadhi, where the yogis, they completely let go of the materialistic presence and and are only in that particular way where they unite with the causal body. That can be seen in flow. But here, as a concept of positive psychology, here it is action oriented. Flow is action oriented. That is to indulge in something, or in a way, indulge in something or something in a certain way where we can completely forget our physical presence. So I'm sitting in class, I'm so involved in something that is going on in class, I've actually forgotten that I'm sitting in class. Different kind what students do right now, because they don't listen, they are elsewhere. That is presence, their presence of mind is not in class, that is not it. When I'm thinking about something that has been going on, when I'm indulging in something and I'm thinking about that so much, let us say I'm making a pot, ghata, I'm making a pot. I'm I'm so involved in that particular pot. I'm making that pot. I've forgotten the intricacies. I stopped thinking the steps. I've stopped thinking what comes after what. This pot is supposed to be like this, like that. I'm not thinking anything. I'm just letting that movement shape the pot. I have something that I like, maybe that mud, the clay, that I love to mold with it, and I'm keeping that. I'm just letting that particular clay shape itself. And what I'm doing is my mind is totally dissolved into this. So for this, what is important is choosing an activity for its own sake. If you have expectations, then that expectations always premeditate our actions. Like, for example, if I say I want to study to get first rank, that first rank will always tell me, will always dictate how much I should study. For example, I have to study this. Or what if something else comes in the exam? I might lose on that. So I want to study something else. Here, being in flow does not mean that one knows everything completely or one will be able to master it, or it doesn't mean that that person will not know anything. It is just that the person who is in flow, who is doing something and then he is experiencing flow, will be able to enjoy that particular task better, and the person will invoke positive feelings. That means he will derive more satisfaction from doing things that from which he can be in a state of flow, than things that where flow cannot be experienced. Like somebody forcing you to do something, at that point you will not enjoy it much. So flow is a concept where the activity must be selected for its own sake. That means I want to make a pot, therefore I'm making a pot. I'm not thinking let me give this pot to someone, let me make a jug out of it, let me make a mug out of it. I'm not thinking anything. I just want to make a pot, I'm making a pot. So for the sake of it. Okay. And the second one is we need to have clear goals. That means we need to clear our complete intentions. Like there are expectations, right? Now taking the example of Ghata, that this has to come out this way, that has to come out that way. No, what our goal should be is that I just want to make a pot. There cannot be any, and the more complicated it becomes, the more mind gets riddled with expectations or details, then that flow is pushed further away. So it has to be very one or two the things, that's all. So there has to be clarity, and that particular thing must be all that we can think of. That is, I am sitting here worrying about my result. Just to divert my mind, I cannot take up something that will only distract me or divert my attention. It will not give me satisfaction, because we are talking about invoking positive feelings. That itself must be the clarity. There should not be any other goal, like let me think of something so that it diverts me something from the current attentions. No, that is not flow. Flow is more spontaneous. But there is another thing that is very similar to this, that is fixation. Why these two concepts are coming together? Fixation is thinking repeatedly on a certain aspect where it occupies our mind completely. There might be um, scenarios where I try to change what has happened, where I try to imagine different things. So fixation is a negative aspect, flow is a positive aspect. What is the difference, however? So fixation is very clear, as Krishna states. So it is dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho bijayate krodhat bhavati sammohaha sammohat smriti vibhramaha smriti bhramshat buddhinashaha buddhinashat pranashyati. So his fixation is very clear. How? Let us say I'm watching a cricket match. I am thinking about the cricket match. Let us say my favorite team lost. Now I keep thinking, hey, where did that person go wrong? So I'm thinking, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha. Sangasteshu Pajayate. I get attached to it. Sangasteshu Pajayate. Then what happens? Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha. I get desires. What? I feel, oh, I could have changed it if this would have happened, that we could have won the match if that person would have sustained for a longer time. If he would have batted, maybe it would have been better. the desire to change the outcome of something that comes in effect. Because we are not able to do that, kamat krodho bhi jayate. I get aggressive. Should have happened. From that, again, krodhat bhavati sammohaha. Attachment leads to nothing but losing one's intellectual ability. Sammohaha, attachment to that. So, sammohat smriti vibramaha. Here also, this is the effect. Smriti vibramaha, I am not sure where what is happening because I'm so indulged in that particular thought. I am forgetting whatever is happening around me, in and around me. That is when I lose myself. Smriti Bramshat Buddhi Nashaha. I lose my intellect, intelligence. I stop applying. My sir, you always used to say, in sway of emotions, intelligence does not work. So intelligence stops working. Buddhi Nashat Pranashyati. That is the end. This is fixation. What is difference between flow and fixation then? The, the whole concept that I want to change an outcome. I want to change an outcome is fixation. I'm thinking about the outcome. I'm thinking about my expectations. I'm thinking about how to change it so that the outcomes match my expectations. This is fixation. This is what fixation leads to. Enjoying the happiness or the joy or the bliss of doing something while doing it, that is flow. There is no voluntary or involuntary thoughts to alter whatever is happening over there, even if it is against us. Flow is such that even if it is against us, you will still enjoy that particular the bliss of doing that particular task. Like when we initially start to exercise, we start getting the pain, right? It is called a sweet pain. The reason is because we have a mental well-being uplifted because we have done something that is very healthy, but our body has not been suited to it, therefore it is accumulating lactic acid, so we are seeing the pain and we are living through that pain. That pain, instead of being unbearable, has become a reminder that we did achieve something today, so it becomes flow. Other than that, when I start thinking I should have done 20 push-ups today, I only did 10. Then even that 10 is not going to give me the happiness that I should get out of it. So fixation and flow both require us to be in the moment or be in the thought. But flow is more action oriented. Fixation reduces action. Fixation increases the chitta vrittis, that is the sensitivity of mind. Flow reduces the sensitivity of mind because we are dissolving our conscience with whatever we are doing in the task that we are doing. So these two concepts are extremely important because we see over here Lakshmana says in the first one, Bhavapavargan Tavayogi Bhavitam. Bhavapavarga, get rid of Bhavapavarga. Why Bhavapavarga? Why Bhavasagara is bad? Because we can't detach ourselves. Once we can detach ourselves, then samsara is not bad. But then again, samsara also requires certain eligibility, which means we have to be involved. So, bhavapavargan tava yogi bhavitam, like the yogis are able to detach themselves from the bhavasagara, I also want to detach myself, bhavapavargam. For that to happen, fixation needs to stop. And how can I get rid of ignorance? Ignorance can only be completely gotten rid of by letting go of the element of control. That is, we don't have anything under control. So that we can only, that will lead to us experiencing a state of flow where we are completely in that particular task that we are doing. That is also what flow is, being in the moment. um, there are different phrases to explain what flow means. So it's basically when we are in the zone. These kind of phrases actually describe it. So which means when we are able to let go of our physical presence, and when we are able to detach our physical presence and mental presence, when we get our mind indulging only in what we are doing. You know how routine works, not thinking about anything. We just get up, we just go brush our teeth, start taking, etc., etc. We are not thinking about the next step. So that is how flow works. So then we are in flow. That gives us some satisfaction because I'm not thinking about it, I'm just doing it. So that is flow. And the next, the other one is fixation. So these two concepts are shown in this fifth verse. So we need to develop flow and reduce fixation. Best. With this, we end the positive psychology session. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः प्रतिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीमहीषा गोब्राह्मणेभ्यो शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि।